My name is Sarah, and today we have something very special, very warm, and very helpful for you. So before we start, just take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and get ready for a very simple, clear, and friendly English listening practice. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Don't worry if you feel slow. You are not slow. You are learning, and that is something to feel proud of. You are here, right now, taking a small step, and this small step will help your English grow every day. Today's listening practice is going to be very natural, very calm, and very real. It is not a textbook lesson. It is a story, a real-life themed story, told in easy English so your ears can slowly get used to the language. You will hear natural rhythm, gentle pauses, simple sentences, and easy expressions. And I promise, nothing here will be too fast or too difficult for you. This lesson is for beginners and for anyone who wants to feel more confident when listening to English. In today's long story, you will follow a journey, my journey, and the journey of a few people I meet along the way. You will hear how we talk, how we think, how we feel, and how we use simple English in everyday life. And you will learn many small things: vocabulary, expressions, questions, answers, and real conversations. You will also practice repeating words after me. You will practice listening again to short parts. You will practice understanding small details. And at the end, you will understand more English than you expect. So, dear listener, sit back. You can sit on a chair, you can lie on your bed, you can relax on the floor, whichever makes you feel comfortable. Allow your mind to be open. Allow your ears to become soft. And allow yourself to enjoy this long English journey. Let me tell you what today's story is about. Today, I will take you with me on a simple day in my life. A very normal day. A day that starts with me waking up early in the morning and ends with me learning something important about language and about life. You will hear how I get ready, how I meet a friend, how I speak to people, how I listen to others, and how I learn something new by the end of the day. Sometimes, normal days teach the biggest lessons. And I hope this story helps you feel motivated to learn English every day, step by step. Before we start the actual story, let me ask you a small question. Do you ever feel nervous when listening to English? Do you sometimes feel that the words sound too fast? Do you sometimes think, I understand nothing? If yes, you are not alone. I want you to know that many, many people feel the same. Even I felt the same when I learned another language. For me, it was Spanish. When I first listened to Spanish speakers, I felt lost. Their voices were fast. Their words were long. Their sounds were new. And I thought, wow, how will I ever understand this? But slowly, very slowly, I started to listen every day. Little by little, my ears started to understand. One day, I understood one sentence. Another day, I understood two sentences. And after months, I could understand many things. Not everything, but many things. And that is the magic of listening. It grows inside you quietly. So if you feel nervous sometimes, it's okay. Let that feeling be there. But don't let it stop you. Today's story will help you move forward. I will speak clearly. I will speak slowly. I will repeat important words. And I will guide you like a friend sitting next to you, talking with you. Now, let me give you a small preview of what you're going to hear in this first long section. You will hear how my day begins. The sound of the morning. The feeling of sunlight. The first cup of tea. The first thoughts in my head. And then something surprising happens. Something small, but something that changes the whole direction of my day. You will hear how one small message, one small invitation, and one small moment can lead to a bigger experience. And I will take you with me, step by step, so that you feel like you are living the day with me. So let's begin. It was early morning, around 6:30 a.m. The sun was just starting to rise. The sky was not fully bright yet. It was a soft orange color, like the color of warm tea. I opened my eyes slowly, and for a moment, I just lay there, listening to the quiet sound of the morning. There was a light breeze coming from my window. The room felt cool and peaceful. I stretched my arms and took a deep breath. Then I sat up and smiled to myself. I don't know why, but mornings always feel like a small new beginning. A little reset button. A chance to start fresh. I got out of bed and walked to my kitchen. I put some water in the kettle to boil. While waiting, I looked out the window. Outside, the street was calm. A few birds were sitting on the wires. A man was sweeping the road. A woman was walking slowly with her young child. The world always moves gently in the early morning. The kettle started to make a small sound. The water was heating. I opened a jar of tea leaves and smiled when I smelled the fresh tea aroma. I made my cup of tea, warm and simple. I took my cup to the balcony and sat down to enjoy the morning air. The first sip of tea always feels good. Soft. Comforting. Familiar. And then, suddenly, my phone buzzed. I looked at the screen and saw a message from my friend Anna. She wrote, "Good morning. Are you free today? I want to meet you and talk about something important." I blinked. Anna rarely sends messages early in the morning, and she almost never says something important. I wondered what it could be. Was she okay? Did something happen? Was it good news or bad news? I didn't know, but I felt curious and a little worried, but mostly curious. I typed back, "Good morning. Yes, I'm free. What happened?" She replied quickly, Nothing bad. I just need help with English. Can we meet at the cafe near your place?" I relaxed a little. English. Okay, that sounds normal. But why did she call it important? And why early in the morning? I took another sip of tea and thought about it. I wrote back, "Sure. What time?" She said, "Maybe in 1 hour?" I'm already awake. I smiled. Anna always wakes up early. I told her, "Okay, see you soon." Now the direction of my day had changed. Instead of a quiet morning at home, I was now going out to meet a friend. And this friend wanted help with English. I felt excited. I love helping people learn languages. It makes me happy. It gives me purpose. I finished my tea, got dressed, packed my notebook, and left my apartment. As I walked to the cafe, I felt the morning becoming brighter. The street was busier now. People were going to work. Children were walking to school. Motorbikes were passing. Cars were honking softly. The air felt alive. I reached the cafe. It was a small, cozy place with wooden tables, soft lights, and gentle music. I chose a table near the window and waited for Anna. A few minutes later, she walked in. She looked happy, but a little nervous. She waved at me and sat down. "Hey," she said. "Hey," I replied. "So, what's this important thing?" She laughed quietly and said, "I want to become fluent in English." And I don't know where to start. I feel stuck. And at that moment, something clicked in my mind. I knew today's day was not going to be normal. It was going to be a lesson for her, for me, and for you. Anna sat down across from me, her hands wrapped around a warm cup of coffee. She looked at me with a mix of hope and worry. It was the kind of look people have when they want to change something in their life, but don't know how to start. I smiled at her gently and said, "So, you want to become fluent. That's a wonderful goal. But tell me, what is making you feel stuck?" She breathed out slowly and shook her head. "I don't know, Sarah. I listen to English videos, but sometimes I understand and sometimes I don't. I try to speak, but my words get mixed. I learn new vocabulary, but I forget them after a few days. I feel like I'm going in circles." I nodded. I understand that feeling very well. I took a sip of my tea and continued softly. And you know what? Most people who learn English feel exactly like that at some point. The important thing is that you haven't given up. You are still here. You are still trying. She looked relieved. But how do I move forward? How do I become confident? Let's talk about that, I said, leaning forward. Tell me, when you listen to English, what happens? What do you feel? She thought for a moment. I feel nervous first. Then I try to understand. But when the speaker says something I don't know, I panic. My mind stops listening. Then I feel lost. That's very normal, I said with a warm smile. Do you know why? Because your brain is trying to understand every single word. But fluent listeners don't understand every word. They understand the meaning. They listen for the idea, not every tiny sound. Her eyes widened. Really? Yes, I said. Even native speakers don't catch every word all the time. Sometimes noise in the background makes words unclear. Sometimes people talk too fast. Sometimes they use slang or shorten words. But native speakers don't panic. They wait. They keep listening. And their brain fills the meaning. She blinked several times. So, I don't need to understand all words. No, I said kindly. You just need to understand enough to follow the story. And that skill grows with time. She sat back slowly, letting the idea sink in. I watched her eyes soften. A small part of her worry was melting away. I continued, that is why we start with simple listening. Like the story we are living right now. Simple English. Clear sentences. Natural rhythm. This is how your ears get stronger. Anna nodded slowly. I think that makes sense. I smiled. Good. So let me teach you a small exercise. This is something I do every time I learn a new language. It is called the calm listening method. She raised her eyebrows. Calm listening? Yes, I said. Calm listening means you listen without fear, without pressure, without trying too hard. You relax. You breathe. You listen for the story, the feeling, the idea. And when you hear a new word, you don't freeze. You let it pass. Later, you can learn that word, but not during the story. During the story, your only job is to enjoy. Anna smiled a little. I like that. It feels peaceful. Exactly, I said. Language learning can be peaceful. She looked down at her hands and whispered, I want English to feel peaceful, not scary. It will, I said, with practice. At that moment, the cafe door opened again. A young man came in, holding a laptop and wearing headphones around his neck. He ordered a coffee and sat at a table near us. He opened his laptop and started typing quickly. I noticed Anna watching him. "What's wrong?" I asked. She whispered, "Why do people like him speak English so easily? I see people talk fast like it's nothing, and I feel like a slow child." I shook my head gently. Never compare your beginning with someone else's middle. You don't know his story. Maybe he grew up speaking English. Maybe he lived abroad. Maybe he studied for 10 years. Or maybe English is the only language he knows. But you are learning a new language as an adult. That is a brave thing. It's not slow. It's strong. Her eyes softened again. I never thought of it that way. Most people don't, I said. But remember, every learner has a different path. And your path doesn't have to be fast. It just needs to be steady. Anna smiled for the first time since she arrived. It was a small smile, but a real one. I continued. So today, let's practice simple listening. I will tell you a small story. A short, easy story. And after that, we'll talk about a few words. Then we'll do some listening questions. Is that okay? Yes, she said, sounding more excited. I smiled and began. Okay, listen carefully. I spoke slowly and clearly. Yesterday morning, I went to the market near my house. I wanted to buy some fresh vegetables. When I reached the market, I saw an old woman selling mangoes. She smiled at me. I asked her, "How much are the mangoes?" She said, 200 per kilo. I bought 1 kilo. She put the mangoes in a bag and said, "Have a nice day." I smiled and said, "Thank you. You too." And then I walked home. Then I looked at Anna. That's the story. Very simple. Now tell me, what did I buy? She thought for half a second and then smiled. Mangoes. Yes, I said. Good. And what did the woman say to me? She said, "Have a nice day." Very good, I said. And how much were the mangoes? 200 per kilo. Excellent, I said. See? You understood everything. She looked surprised. That was easy. I nodded. Yes. And this is how you build confidence. With simple stories. Short stories. Clear stories. When you understand something fully, your brain becomes happy. It says, "Ah, I can do this." And that gives you power for bigger stories. Anna looked pleased. She sat a little straighter. I continued. Now repeat after me. Slowly. I said, "I went to the market." She repeated softly. I went to the market. Good. Now, I bought some mangoes. She repeated more confidently. I bought some mangoes. Very good, I said. Now, have a nice day. She said it again. Have a nice day. I smiled. Perfect. This is called shadowing. You listen. You repeat. And little by little, your speaking becomes natural. She nodded. This feels good. I can do this. Yes, I said. You can do this. We both took a sip of our drinks, letting the moment feel warm and calm. Then Anna asked, "But Sarah, how do I improve listening when people speak fast? Not slow like you, but fast." I smiled. That is a very good question. Let me explain it in a simple way. You improve your listening with levels. Level 1, slow English, like we're doing now. Level 2, normal English, not too fast, not too slow. Level 3, natural English, fast, connected, real-life speed. She nodded. So, I should start with level 1 first? Yes, I said. Start with level 1 until you feel comfortable. Then slowly move to level 2. And when you feel ready, move to level 3. It's like walking. First you walk slowly. Then you walk fast. Then one day you can run. Anna laughed. I want to run in English one day. And you will, I said confidently. She looked around the cafe, watching people talk softly. Can we do more listening? Yes, I said. Let's use a real moment from right now. She raised her eyebrows. From right now? Yes, I said. Close your eyes for a moment. She did. Now listen, I said softly. Listen to the sound of the cafe. What do you hear? She stayed quiet for a moment. Then she said, I hear soft music. I hear someone typing. I hear cups, maybe a spoon touching a cup, and someone talking far away. Very good, I said. Now open your eyes. She opened them slowly. That, I said, is listening practice. Natural listening. You listen for sounds, ideas, feelings, not for perfect words. And you understood. She smiled brightly. I really did. I nodded. And that is how English becomes part of your life. Not something separate. Not something stressful. It becomes something you notice around you. She folded her hands together and said quietly, I feel hopeful now. I think I can improve. I smiled warmly at her. You are already improving, because you're listening right now, and you are understanding right now. Anna's face softened with relief. Thank you, Sarah. You're welcome. We sat there for a few seconds, just enjoying this simple piece of the moment. And then Anna said something that changed the direction of our day again. She leaned forward and whispered, Sarah, can you take me with you today? Like, can we spend the whole day together? I want to practice English the entire day. Not only here. I paused. The entire day? That was unexpected. But I looked at her, really looked at her, and I saw something important. I saw a person who was finally ready to learn. A person who wanted to break the wall of fear. A person who needed someone to guide her, at least for today. I smiled slowly and said, Yes. Let's spend the whole day practicing English. Anna gasped happily. Really? Yes, I said. Let today be your English day. And that was the beginning of a long, unexpected, and beautiful learning adventure. Anna smiled like a child who just received a surprise gift. Her eyes were bright, her shoulders were relaxed, and she looked more excited than I had seen her in weeks. She took a deep breath and said, Okay, I'm ready. Let today be my English day. I laughed softly. Good. But remember one rule. She leaned in. What rule? Today we talk only in English. She blinked, surprised. Only English? All day. Yes, I said calmly. All day. If we switch to another language, your brain will relax too much. But if we stay in English, your brain will stay awake. It will work. It will learn. Anna closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them again with determination. Okay. Only English. I can do it. I smiled. Yes, you can. We paid the bill, stood up, and walked out of the cafe. The morning was now brighter, the air a little warmer. People were walking quickly on the street, buses were passing, and shops were opening their doors. It felt like the whole city was waking up along with Anna's confidence. As we started walking, I said, "Okay, Anna, let's begin with something simple. Describe what you see." She looked around. "I see cars, many cars, and people walking, and one small shop, it sells fruits." "Good," I said. "Try a longer sentence. Add a detail." She thought for a moment. "The fruit shop looks fresh. No, the fruits look fresh." I nodded. Great correction. "And yes, the fruits do look fresh. What else?" She pointed to a tall building. "That building is very high. I think maybe 15 floors." I laughed. "Maybe more. But your sentence is perfect." She smiled proudly. We walked slowly down the street. Every few steps, I asked her simple questions. "What color is that car?" "Blue." "What is that man doing?" "He is talking on the phone." "What do you smell?" "Ah, I smell something good. Maybe bread?" "Exactly," I said. "There's a bakery nearby." Anna laughed softly. "This is fun. I didn't know learning English could be like this." I smiled. "That's because English is not only textbooks. English is life. English is everywhere." She nodded thoughtfully. We turned a corner and reached a small park. It had a few benches, some tall trees, and a little walking path. Birds were sitting on the branches, singing softly. Anna looked around and whispered, "This place feels peaceful." I said, "Yes. Now tell me what you hear." She closed her eyes. "I hear birds, and some children laughing far away, and footsteps, maybe someone running." "Good," I said. "Now open your eyes, and tell me what you feel." She opened them slowly. "I feel calm." "Perfect," I said. These small exercises teach you to connect English with real experiences. We sat on a bench. The morning sun touched our faces gently. A cool breeze moved through the trees. Anna asked, "Sarah, how did you learn Spanish? Did you do a day like this?" I smiled. "Yes, many days like this." I walked around, listening to sounds, describing things, talking to people. I made mistakes, many mistakes, but I kept speaking. "And were you nervous?" she asked softly. "Very nervous," I said honestly. I felt shy. I felt slow. I felt confused. But every day I tried again. And that's how I learned. Anna looked at me with respect. "Then maybe I can do it too." "You can," I said gently. "And you already are." We sat in silence for a few seconds. Then Anna asked, "Can we practice speaking more? Like a conversation?" "Yes," I said. "Let's do a simple conversation. Imagine we are meeting for the first time. I will be me. You be you." Anna chuckled. "Okay." I cleared my throat. "Hello. What's your name?" She smiled. "My name is Anna. What is your name?" "My name is Sarah." "Nice to meet you." She repeated. "Nice to meet you too." "Where are you from?" I asked. "I am from here," she said. "I live near this area." "Great," I said. "And what do you do?" She thought for a moment. I work in an office. I am, I am a designer. Perfect, I said. How do you feel today? She smiled. I feel happy and a little nervous. I laughed softly. That's the perfect combination for learning. She took a deep breath. Okay, ask me more. What is your favorite food? I asked. Sushi, she said quickly. Then she covered her face. Oh, I don't know why I said that. I just like sushi. But my favorite food is maybe pasta. Both answers are good, I said. English is not a test. There are no marks. There is only communication. She lowered her hands and smiled shyly. I'm trying. And you're doing great, I said warmly. A dog passed by with its owner. The dog looked friendly, with soft brown eyes and a wagging tail. Anna pointed at it and said, Look, the dog is cute. Yes, I said. Now make a longer sentence. She tried. The dog looks cute and friendly. Maybe it wants to play. Wonderful, I said. See how your English flows. She smiled, glowing with confidence. After a few minutes, I stood up and said, Come on, let's walk more. Walking helps the brain learn faster. Anna stood up too. Really? Yes, I said. When you walk, your mind becomes relaxed. And when your mind is relaxed, language enters easily. We began walking again, slowly through the park and back onto the street. Anna asked, Sarah, when I listen to English videos online, sometimes I understand, and sometimes I feel lost. Why does that happen? I explained, because every speaker is different. Some speak clearly. Some speak fast.
Some use slang.
Some connect words. When you listen to one person for a long time, your ears get used to their voice. But when you listen to a new person, your ears need time. So, I should listen to many different voices? She asked. Yes, I said. But first start with simple voices. Then slowly try more natural voices. We walked past a small flower shop. There were roses, sunflowers, lilies, and many more colorful flowers. Anna stopped to look. These flowers are beautiful, she said softly. Yes, I said. Describe one flower. She pointed at a sunflower. This sunflower is big and bright. It looks like the sun. Beautiful, I said. That's a very good description. Anna blushed. Thank you. We continued walking. After a few minutes, she said quietly, Sarah, I have one more question. Of course, I said. She looked down at her shoes. Why do I forget words so fast? I learn them, but then they disappear. I laughed gently. Welcome to the world of language learning. Everybody forgets words. Even I forget words in Spanish sometimes. Really? She asked. Yes, I said. Because our brain forgets what it does not use. If you learn a word only one time, your brain throws it away. But if you use it again and again, your brain keeps it. She nodded slowly. So, I must use new words? Yes, I said. Use them in sentences. Use them in small conversations. Use them in your thoughts. In my thoughts, she asked. Yes, I said. When you walk alone, try to describe things in English in your mind. Like, the sky is blue. The road is busy. The shop is open. These small thoughts keep English alive inside you. Anna smiled. I will try that. Good, I said. We reached a street crossing. Cars were moving fast. People were waiting for the signal to turn green. Anna looked around and whispered, so many sounds. Yes, I said. Let's use them. Tell me what you hear. She listened carefully. I hear cars' horns, someone talking on the phone, a baby crying, and, a bicycle bell. Excellent, I said. That's real-world listening practice. The signal turned green, and we crossed the street. On the other side, we reached a small bookstore. The front window showed many colorful book covers. Anna's eyes lit up. Can we go inside? She asked. Of course, I said. We entered the bookstore. It smelled like paper and ink, one of my favorite smells. The space was quiet, with soft music playing in the background. Shelves were filled with books of all kinds. Anna walked slowly, touching a few books, reading the covers. Then she turned to me with a shy smile. Can I try something? Sure, I said. I want to speak to the shopkeeper, she whispered nervously. That's a great idea, I said. What will you say? She thought for a moment. I will ask, do you have English books for beginners? Perfect, I said. Go ahead. I'm right here. Anna walked slowly to the counter. The shopkeeper was a gentle-looking man with glasses. He smiled politely. Anna took a deep breath and said, Excuse me, do you have English books for beginners? The man nodded kindly. Yes, we do. They're on the second shelf, right over there. Anna bowed her head slightly. Thank you. He smiled. You're welcome. She walked back to me with a huge smile. I did it. I laughed softly. Yes, you did. And you did it very well. Her energy was full of pride and joy. It made me happy to see her like that. We went to the shelf with English books. Anna picked up a small book with bright colors and simple sentences. She opened it and read a line softly. My name is Tom. I live in a small town. She looked up at me. This is easy. I nodded. Yes. And that's where you start. Small steps. She held the book close to her chest. I want to buy this. Good idea, I said. After she bought the book, we walked out of the bookstore. The sun was higher now, and the day felt warm and full of possibilities. Anna said, Sarah, I feel like today is the first time English is not scary. I looked at her gently. That's because today English is not a subject. It is a friend walking with you. She smiled in a soft, peaceful way. But little did we know, the day was about to get even more interesting. As we turned a corner, I saw a small sign that said Community Center, Language Meetup today at 12 p.m. I stopped walking for a moment. Anna noticed. What happened? I pointed at the sign. She read it slowly. Language Meetup? Today? At 12. I nodded with a small smile. Yes. And look at the time. Anna checked her watch. It's 11:40. I smiled wider. Yes. We have exactly 20 minutes. Her eyes grew wide. Sarah, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yes, I said softly. Let's go. And just like that, our day of English was about to open a new chapter. In the story, we heard about Sarah meeting her friend Mia and how they talked about English learning. You may remember some words, but it is okay if you don't remember all of them. Now, we will look at the important words and sentences. First, let's talk about the word motivated. Mia said she didn't feel motivated. Motivated means you feel ready to work. When you want to do something and you feel energy inside you, that feeling is called motivation. Repeat after me, motivated, very good. Another word we used was nervous. Mia was nervous because she thinks English speakers talk too fast. Nervous means you feel a little afraid or shy. Maybe your hands feel cold or your heart beats fast. Repeat with me, nervous, nice job. We also use the phrase real English. Real English means English people actually speak in daily life. Not textbook English, not school English, but the kind people use at the cafe, on the phone, at work, with friends. Sometimes real English sounds fast. Sometimes people use short forms like gonna for going to, or wanna for want to. These things make students feel confused.
But don't worry.
When you listen more and more, your ears slowly understand these sounds. Your brain learns the pattern. You just need time. Repeat after me. Real English, good. In the cafe, Sarah used the word comfortable. She told Mia, take your time. Feel comfortable. Comfortable means you feel relaxed. You don't feel stress. You feel safe. When you learn English, it is very important to feel comfortable. If you feel scared, it is hard to learn. If you feel calm, everything becomes easier. Say it with me slowly, comfortable, very nice. Another phrase was step by step. Sarah said learning English is slow, and you learn step by step. This means you take small steps, one little piece at a time. You don't need to learn everything in one day. If you learn slowly, but learn every day, that is the real secret. Repeat after me, step by step. Wonderful. Let's practice some of the sentences we used in the story. I will say a sentence slowly. Then I will pause, and you can repeat after me. Ready? Here we go. I sometimes feel nervous. Repeat. English speakers talk fast. Repeat. I want to understand natural English. Repeat. I learn step by step. Repeat. I listen and I improve. Repeat. Very good. You are doing amazing. Even if you cannot repeat perfectly, it is okay. You are trying, and that is what matters. Now, let's do a small listening check. I will say a sentence from the story, and then I will ask a simple question. You don't need to answer loud. You can answer in your mind. After a little pause, I will tell you the correct answer. Ready? Here is the first one. Mia said she was not very motivated. Question: why was Mia not motivated? Short pause. Answer: because she feels English is difficult for her right now. Next one. Sarah told Mia to take her time. Question: what did Sarah tell Mia? Short pause. Answer: she told her to take her time and not feel pressure. Next one. Mia thinks English speakers talk too fast. Question: what does Mia think? Short pause. Answer: she thinks English speakers talk too fast. You did great. Let's continue with some more practice. This time, I will give you a short phrase and I want you to guess what it means, and then I will explain it. Phrase number 1. Don't worry. This means relax. Everything is okay. You don't need to feel afraid. Phrase number 2. Keep going. This means continue. Don't stop. Try your best. Phrase number 3. Little by little. This is similar to step by step. It means slow progress, but steady progress.
You see?
English can be easy when you learn it slowly and calmly. Now we will do a little shadowing practice. Shadowing means you listen, and then you repeat immediately after me, almost like you are my shadow. It helps your mouth move like English speakers, and your brain becomes faster in English. Ready? Learning English takes time. Repeat. I listen every day. Repeat. I don't give up. Repeat. I am doing better each day. Repeat. Excellent job. You are becoming stronger in your listening and speaking. Now, let's talk about the feelings you may have when learning English. Many people feel shy. Many people feel scared. Many people think their English is bad. But let me tell you something, your English is growing every moment you listen. Every second you spend here is making your brain stronger. You are not alone in this journey. Sarah, Mia, and many learners all feel the same things. And slowly, with practice, their fear becomes smaller and their confidence becomes bigger. One more important word from the story is conversation. This means two people talking to each other. Conversation is one of the best ways to learn English. But even if you don't have someone to talk to, you can practice by listening to videos like this, repeating words, shadowing sentences, and imagining conversations in your mind. Repeat the word with me. Conversation again, conversation, perfect. Now, let's practice more comprehension. Listen carefully. I will tell you a short piece of the story in different words. Then I will ask you a question. Here it is. Mia was drinking coffee. She felt a little shy about her English. Sarah told her it is normal to feel this way. Question. What was Mia drinking?
Pause.
Answer. Coffee. Question. How did Mia feel about her English?
Pause.
Answer. She felt shy or nervous.
Good job.
Now listen to another one. Sarah said English becomes easier when you listen a lot. She told Mia not to feel pressure. Question. What becomes easier when you listen a lot? Pause. Answer. English becomes easier. Question. What did Sarah tell Mia not to feel?
Pause.
Answer. Pressure. Amazing. You are really understanding everything. Now, let's learn a few more useful words. Practice. Practice means to repeat something many times to get better. Focus. Focus means to pay attention. Relax. Relax means to calm your body and your mind. Repeat with me. Practice. Focus. Relax. Excellent. Sarah and Mia were still sitting inside the cozy cafe. Outside the window, the afternoon sun was slowly moving across the sky. The light became softer, almost golden, and it made the cafe feel warm and peaceful. People were coming in and going out, some with laptops, some with books, and some just looking for a quiet place to sit. The sound of coffee machines, soft music, and quiet chatter made the place feel friendly. It was the perfect place for a deep conversation. Mia slowly lifted her cup, took a small sip, and then placed it back on the table. She looked at Sarah with a thoughtful expression. You know, she said slowly, I always wanted to speak English confidently. Not perfectly, but confidently. I want to talk without fear. Sarah smiled gently.
And you will, she said.
You are already improving. You just don't see it yet. Mia looked surprised. Really? You think so? I know so, Sarah said in a calm, warm voice. You listen carefully. You repeat words.
You try.
Trying is the most important thing. Mia leaned back in her seat and sighed. Sometimes I feel like my mind becomes blank when I hear fast English. I hear sounds, but not words. Sarah nodded slowly. I know that feeling. I had the same problem before. You did? Mia looked curious. Yes, Sarah said. When I first moved to the city, everyone talked so fast. They used short forms, expressions, and jokes that I didn't understand. I felt lost. But slowly, day by day, I started to understand more. Mia looked more relaxed now. What helped you? Sarah thought for a moment.
2 things, she said.
Listening every day and not being afraid to make mistakes. Mia laughed softly. Mistakes. I make so many mistakes. Sarah shrugged. Everyone does. Even native speakers make mistakes. The important thing is this. Mistakes help you learn. Every mistake teaches you something. Mia looked down at the table and smiled quietly. I guess that makes sense. At that moment, a waiter came by and placed a small plate of cookies on the table. Complimentary, he said kindly, from the cafe. Sarah and Mia both thanked him, and he walked away. Mia smiled as she picked up a cookie. You know, I think coming here today was good for me. Talking with you makes me feel lighter. Sarah took a cookie too. I'm glad. And I'm always here to help. But remember, you don't have to depend on me. You can help yourself too. Little by little. Mia nodded slowly. I want to. I want to understand English when I watch videos. I want to understand when someone speaks to me. And you will, Sarah said. Let me show you something. She took out her phone and played a short audio clip. It was a simple English story, spoken slowly. Mia leaned in and listened. After a moment, she pulled back and smiled. I understood almost everything. You see, Sarah said happily. Your listening skills are growing. Mia looked pleased. But what about fast English? How do I practice that? Sarah tapped gently on the table. First, you build your slow listening. When slow English becomes easy, you move to medium speed. Then later, you try fast English, step by step. Mia nodded again. So, I don't need to jump to fast English right away? No, Sarah said kindly. If you try something too difficult too early, you feel tired. But if you grow slowly, you enjoy learning. Enjoying learning is very important. Mia took another sip of coffee. Her shoulders were more relaxed now. Her breathing was calm. She looked outside the window for a moment and watched people walking by. Some were speaking on their phones, some laughing with friends, and some walking. You see? English can be easy when you learn it slowly and calmly. Now, we will do a little shadowing practice. Shadowing means you listen, and then you repeat immediately after me, almost like you are my shadow. It helps your mouth move like English speakers, and your brain becomes faster in English. Ready? Learning English takes time. Repeat. I listen every day. Repeat. I don't give up. Repeat. I am doing better each day. Repeat. Excellent job. You're becoming stronger in your listening and speaking. Now, let's talk about the feelings you may have when learning English. Many people feel shy. Many people feel scared. Many people think their English is bad. But let me tell you something, your English is growing every moment you listen. Every second you spend here is making your brain stronger. You are not alone in this journey. Sarah, Mia, and many learners all feel the same things. And slowly, with practice, their fear becomes smaller and their confidence becomes bigger. One more important word from the story is conversation. This means two people talking to each other. Conversation is one of the best ways to learn English. But even if you don't have someone to talk to, you can practice by listening to videos like this, repeating words, shadowing sentences, and imagining conversations in your mind. Repeat the word with me. Conversation again, conversation, perfect. Now, let's practice more comprehension. Listen carefully. I will tell you a short piece of a story in different words. Then I will ask you a question. Here it is. Mia was drinking coffee. She felt a little shy about her English. Sarah told her it is normal to feel this way. Question. What was Mia drinking? Pause. Answer. Coffee. Question. How did Mia feel about her English? Pause. Answer. She felt shy or nervous.
Good job.
Now listen to another one. Sarah said English becomes easier when you listen a lot. She told Mia not to feel pressure. Question. What becomes easier when you listen a lot? Pause. Answer. English becomes easier. Question. What did Sarah tell Mia not to feel? Pause. Answer. Pressure. Amazing. You are really understanding everything. Now, let's learn a few more useful words. Practice. Practice means to repeat something many times to get better. Focus. Focus means to pay attention. Relax. Relax means to calm your body and your mind. Repeat with me. Practice. Focus. Relax. Excellent. Sarah and Mia were still sitting inside the cozy cafe. Outside the window, the afternoon sun was slowly moving across the sky. The light became softer, almost golden, and it made the cafe feel warm and peaceful. People were coming in and going out, some with laptops, some with books, and some just looking for a quiet place to sit. The sound of coffee machines, soft music, and quiet chatter made the place feel friendly. It was the perfect place for a deep conversation. Mia slowly lifted her cup, took a small sip, and then placed it back on the table. She looked at Sarah with a thoughtful expression. You know, she said slowly, I always wanted to speak English confidently. Not perfectly, but confidently. I want to talk without fear. Sarah smiled gently. And you will, she said. You are already improving. You just don't see it yet.
Mia looked surprised.
Really? You think so? I know so, Sarah said in a calm, warm voice. You listen carefully. You repeat words. You try. Trying is the most important thing. Mia leaned back in her seat and sighed. Sometimes I feel like my mind becomes blank when I hear fast English. I hear sounds but not words. Sarah nodded slowly. I know that feeling. I had the same problem before. You did. Mia looked curious. Yes, Sarah said. When I first moved to the city, everyone talked so fast. They used short forms, expressions, and jokes that I didn't understand. I felt lost. But slowly, day by day, I started to understand more. Mia looked more relaxed now. What helped you? Sarah thought for a moment. 2 things, she said. Listening every day and not being afraid to make mistakes. Mia laughed softly. Mistakes. I make so many mistakes. Sarah shrugged. Everyone does. Even native speakers make mistakes. The important thing is this: mistakes help you learn. Every mistake teaches you something. Mia looked down at the table and smiled quietly. I guess that makes sense. At that moment, a waiter came by and placed a small plate of cookies on the table. Complimentary, he said kindly, from the cafe. Sarah and Mia both thanked him, and he walked away. Mia smiled as she picked up a cookie. I think coming here today was good for me. Talking with you makes me feel lighter. Sarah took a cookie too. I'm glad. And I'm always here to help. But remember, you don't have to depend on me. You can help yourself too. Little by little. Mia nodded slowly. I want to. I want to understand English when I watch videos. I want to understand when someone speaks to me. And you will, Sarah said. Let me show you something. She took out her phone and played a short audio clip. It was a simple English story, spoken slowly. Mia leaned in and listened. After a moment, she pulled back and smiled. I understood almost everything. You see, Sarah said happily. Your listening skills are growing. Mia looked pleased. But what about fast English? How do I practice that? Sarah tapped gently on the table. First, you build your slow listening. When slow English becomes easy, you move to medium speed. Then later, you try fast English, step by step. Mia nodded again. So, I don't need to jump to fast English right away? No, Sarah said kindly. If you try something too difficult too early, you feel tired. But if you grow slowly, you enjoy learning. Enjoying learning is very important. Mia took another sip of coffee. Her shoulders were more relaxed now. Her breathing was calm. She looked outside the window for a moment and watched people walking by. Some were speaking on their phones, some laughing with friends, and some walking alone with headphones on. What about speaking? Mia asked gently. How do I practice speaking when I don't have anyone to talk to? Sarah smiled with a tiny sparkle in her eyes. You can talk to yourself. Mia laughed loudly. Talk to myself? Yes, Sarah said. You can describe your day in English. You can talk about what you are doing. For example, I am cooking dinner. Or, I am walking to the market. Or, I feel tired today. You can even talk in your mind. That is still practice. Mia shook her head playfully. I never thought about that. It helps, Sarah said. Your mouth needs practice too, just like your ears. Mia touched her chin thoughtfully. Ears and mouth.
I didn't think about that.
English is like music, Sarah said gently. You listen, then you try. You listen more, then you try again. After some time, your brain understands the rhythm. It becomes natural. Mia smiled softly. I want English to feel natural for me. And it will, Sarah said with full confidence. You already took the first step by coming here today. Mia's eyes became warm.
Thank you, Sarah.
Really, this means a lot to me. Sarah reached across the table and touched Mia's hand lightly. You are not alone. Every learner feels the same things, and you are doing better than you think. Just then, the cafe door opened and a small breeze entered the room. The wind carried the smell of warm bread and fresh air. The sound of the door made both Sarah and Mia look toward it. A young man walked in, looking a little confused. He held a small notebook in his hand and scanned the cafe as if searching for someone. Mia raised her eyebrows. Is he looking for someone? Sarah watched him for a moment. Maybe. He looks new here. The young man saw an empty seat near them and sat down. He opened his notebook, flipped through the pages, and sighed in frustration. Then he muttered something softly in English. Mia turned to Sarah. He's speaking English. Sarah listened closely. The young man said, I don't understand these sentences. Why is English so strange? Mia's eyes widened. He is learning English too. Sarah smiled.
See?
Everyone has the same problem. The young man looked embarrassed as he noticed people around him. He closed the notebook quickly and covered his face with his hands. Sarah felt a little sympathetic. She leaned forward and whispered, I think he needs help. Mia nodded. Maybe we should talk to him. Sarah paused. Do you want to try speaking to him in English? Mia froze for a second. Her heart felt a little fast. Her hands felt slightly cold. But then she took a deep breath. Okay, she said softly. I will try. She stood up slowly, walked to the young man, and said, Hello, I heard you speaking English. Do you need help? The young man looked up, surprised. For a moment, he didn't say anything. Then he smiled shyly and nodded. Yes, thank you. I'm new here, and English is hard for me. Mia smiled. Me too. The young man laughed softly. Really? I thought I was the only one. Mia shook her head.
No.
We all learn step by step. Sarah watched from the table, smiling proudly. Mia was speaking English. She was nervous, but she was doing it.
And she didn't stop.
She didn't run away. She tried, and that is the biggest step of all. After a few moments, Sarah joined them and introduced herself. They all sat together, sharing stories about learning English, about misunderstandings, funny mistakes, and small victories. The young man's name was Leo, and he had just moved to the city to study computer design. He told them he wanted to speak English better, so he could make friends. Mia listened carefully, nodding, smiling, speaking slowly but clearly. And for the first time, Mia felt something different. She felt confident. Not perfect, not fluent, but confident enough to start. And that small feeling filled her heart with warm energy. The cafe felt even more peaceful now. 3 learners, 1 table, 1 warm conversation. And slowly, very slowly, all 3 of them began to feel that English was not a big mountain anymore. It was something they could climb together. After her class finishes, Emma walks outside and feels a soft wind on her face. She thinks about the lesson she just heard. Speak slowly, think before talking, listen carefully, and use simple words. She smiles because these ideas feel helpful for her real life, not just for English learning. As she walks to the bus stop, she sees an old man trying to lift a heavy bag. Emma gently says, May I help you? The man looks at her, surprised but happy. She picks up the bag and carries it for him. While walking together, she practices small talk. She says slowly, The weather is nice today. I like the cool wind. The old man nods and replies, Yes, it is a good day. Emma feels proud because she speaks clearly and calmly. She notices that people react better when she uses simple, friendly English. Later, she finds a seat on the bus and hears 2 women speaking in English. She listens quietly, trying to understand their conversation. They talk about work, family, and the weekend. Emma understands most of it because she learned new phrases in class. She repeats some words softly to herself, practicing the pronunciation. She feels more confident now. She remembers her teacher telling the class that real learning comes from real life, not only textbooks. Emma decides that every day she will try to talk to at least one person in English, even if it is just a short sentence. She knows she will make mistakes, but she also knows mistakes help her grow. When she arrives home, Emma's younger sister asks her, "How was your English class?" Emma sits down, drinks some water, and answers slowly, "It was good. I learned how to speak more clearly and listen better." Her sister laughs and says, "You sound different today, more calm." Emma laughs too. She explains to her sister that learning a language is not only about grammar or vocabulary. It is also about attitude. It is about staying patient, being kind to yourself, and speaking with confidence, even when you feel unsure. She tells her sister the story about helping the old man and listening on the bus. Her sister listens with excitement and says, "I want to learn like that too." Emma opens her notebook and starts writing a short diary entry in English. She writes slowly, "Today I practiced calm speaking. I helped someone. I listened to people on the bus. I understood many things. I am improving." She looks at the words and feels a warm happiness inside. She closes the notebook, sits back, and breathes deeply. She knows she still has a long journey ahead, but she is no longer afraid. She understands that small, simple steps every day lead to big improvement. She thinks about her next class and wonders what new lessons she will learn. She feels excited and relaxed at the same time, knowing that English is becoming a natural part of her life. Later that evening, Emma decides to take a short walk outside to relax her mind. The sky is slowly becoming dark, and the streetlights are turning on one by one. She enjoys this quiet time because it helps her think clearly. As she walks, she practices speaking English softly to herself. She says simple sentences like, "Today I learned something new," and "I want to speak better every day." These small self-practice moments make her feel more confident. She remembers her teacher saying that speaking alone is also good practice because it trains the tongue, the mouth, and the mind to work together. Emma smiles because she can already feel the improvement in the way she forms words. She notices she can speak longer sentences without stopping too much. She feels proud of herself. While walking, Emma sees a small cafe. The warm lights inside look inviting, so she decides to enter and buy a cup of tea. She walks in politely and says to the cashier, "Hello, may I have a cup of lemon tea, please?" The cashier smiles and replies in clear English. Emma listens carefully, nods, and answers slowly, so she does not rush her words. She pays for her tea and sits near the window. As she sips the warm drink, she listens to the soft music playing in the background. She hears a few words in English in the song and tries to catch their meaning. She does not understand everything, but she understands enough to feel encouraged. She thinks that English is everywhere around her. It is in music, signs, conversations, movies, and even in simple moments like ordering tea. This thought makes her feel hopeful and excited. A few minutes later, a young woman sits at the table next to Emma. She seems friendly and smiles. Emma decides to try using English again. She turns to the woman and says, "Hi, do you come here often?" The woman replies with a warm laugh and says, "Yes, almost every day. I love this place." Emma listens carefully and continues the conversation slowly. They talk about tea, about the cafe, and about their days. The woman tells Emma that she also learned English as a second language and that she understands how difficult it can be at the beginning. Emma feels relaxed because the woman speaks kindly and patiently. The conversation flows softly, and Emma feels proud that she is able to talk with a stranger in English for several minutes. She thinks about how much she has grown since her first day of class, when even saying hello felt scary. When Emma finishes her tea, she stands up, smiles, and says, "Thank you for talking with me. It helped me practice." The woman smiles back and says, "You're doing great. Keep going." Emma steps outside into the cool night air, feeling lighter and more confident. She walks home, thinking about how small conversations can make a big difference. She feels grateful that she took a chance and spoke to someone. She realizes that learning English is not only about studying, it is also about being brave enough to try. With every sentence she speaks, she is becoming stronger, clearer, and more connected to the world around her. The next morning, Emma wakes up earlier than usual because she feels excited to start another day of learning. She opens her window and lets the fresh morning air come inside her room. The sunlight is soft, and the birds are singing gently outside. Emma stands quietly for a moment, thinking about her progress. She feels proud that she talked with strangers, listened to conversations, and spoke more clearly than before. She knows that each small effort is helping her become more confident. After a few minutes, she gets ready for the day and prepares her breakfast. While eating, she plays a simple English podcast on her phone. The voice in the podcast speaks slowly and clearly, just the way she likes it. Emma listens while she eats, repeating a few sentences softly, so she can practice pronunciation. She enjoys this peaceful routine because it makes her feel calm and focused. She smiles as she realizes that English has become a natural part of her morning. After breakfast, Emma leaves home and takes the bus again. She sits near the window and watches the roads, trees, and buildings pass by. She hears a few people speaking English behind her. They talk about their plans for the day. Emma listens carefully, trying to understand small details. She understands most of it, and this makes her feel happy. She thinks about how just a few weeks ago she understood almost nothing. Now she can follow conversations and even imagine replying. She whispers to herself some simple responses like, "That sounds nice," or I hope you have a good day." She does this quietly so no one hears her, but it still helps her practice. She believes that every small practice moment is important. When the bus reaches her stop, she gets off and walks to her class with a light feeling in her heart. Inside the classroom, her teacher greets everyone with a warm smile. Emma sits in her usual seat and takes out her notebook. Today, the lesson is about expressing feelings in English. The teacher speaks slowly and gives real-life examples. Emma listens with interest because she knows feelings are important in daily conversations. She learns simple sentences like, "I feel happy today," "I am tired," "I am excited," and "I am worried." She practices each sentence aloud, focusing on clarity and calmness. She notices that when she speaks slowly, she sounds more confident. The teacher gives them a short activity where they have to talk with a partner about their morning. Emma speaks with a boy from her class and tells him about her walk, her tea at the cafe, and her conversation with a friendly woman. The boy listens and says she speaks clearly. Emma feels encouraged by his kind words. She likes the feeling of being understood. After class, Emma stays behind for a moment to ask the teacher a question. She says, "How can I improve my speaking even faster?" The teacher smiles and replies gently, "Speak every day, even when you are alone. Speak to people when you can. Listen to English around you, and do not be afraid of mistakes." Emma nods and thanks her teacher. These words feel true to her. She leaves the classroom and walks outside with new energy. On her way home, she decides to make English a part of everything she does today. She plans to watch a short English video, write a diary entry in English, and maybe even talk with someone new if she gets a chance. She feels excited about these small plans because they make learning feel simple and natural. As she reaches home, she opens the door and sees her sister watching something on her phone. Emma sits beside her and listens for a moment. It is a funny video in English. Emma laughs and understands the jokes. Her sister looks at her in surprise and says, "You understood that?" Emma nods proudly and explains that she has been practicing every day. They watch more videos together, and Emma explains a few words to her sister. This makes her feel even more confident because teaching someone else makes her understanding stronger. As the day ends, Emma relaxes on her bed and thinks about everything she learned and experienced. She feels grateful for her slow, simple progress. She knows she still has a long way to go, but she also knows she is moving forward with every small step. With a soft smile, she closes her eyes and whispers to herself, "I am learning. I am growing. I am improving every day." The next day begins quietly for Emma, but there is a gentle excitement inside her heart because she plans to do something new today. She wakes up slowly, stretches her arms, and looks out the window to see the soft morning light. She takes a deep breath and reminds herself that every new day is a chance to learn something small but important. After getting ready, she makes a warm cup of tea and sits at her table. She opens her notebook where she writes her English practice notes. She reads a few sentences she wrote yesterday, and she feels happy because they sound clearer and more natural now. She softly reads them aloud again. "I am learning English step by step. I am improving every day." Hearing her own voice say these words gives her confidence. She believes in herself more today than she did yesterday. Later, she decides to go to the library near her home. She loves the quiet atmosphere there, and she knows she can listen to English and read simple books without any noise or stress. When she reaches the library, she walks slowly between the shelves until she finds the section with easy English books. She picks a small book about daily life conversations. She sits at a table, opens the first page, and begins reading very slowly. She says the words softly, moving her lips to practice pronunciation. Whenever she sees a new word, she does not feel scared. Instead, she writes it in her notebook and looks it up on her phone. She learns meanings like confused, brave, curious, and simple. She repeats each word a few times and tries to use them in her own sentences. While reading, she also listens to a soft English audio on her headphones. The voice speaks slowly, exactly the speed that helps beginners. Emma smiles because she understands most of it without pausing. A little later, A librarian walks by and notices Emma practicing. She asks gently, "Are you learning English?" Emma nods, and the librarian smiles kindly and says, "You're doing very well. Keep reading every day." Emma feels encouraged by this simple compliment. These small words make her heart feel warm, and she continues reading with more focus. After an hour, she closes the book and takes a deep breath. She feels proud of herself because she completed a full chapter without feeling tired or confused. She whispers happily, "I can do this. I really can." When she leaves the library, she walks slowly on the quiet street outside. The trees move gently with the wind, and the sunlight falls warmly on the ground. She hears a few people talking in English near a cafe. They're discussing their travel plans. Emma listens from a distance, trying not to interrupt. She hears words like schedule, hotel, plan, and meeting. These words feel familiar to her now because she has heard them many times. She feels excited that real-life English is becoming easier to understand. She also notices that she does not panic anymore when she hears fast English. She has learned to catch the main idea even if she does not understand every single word. This makes her feel strong inside. Emma decides to enter the cafe and take a seat near the window. She orders a cup of coffee in English. "One coffee, please," she says clearly. The barista smiles and replies, "Sure, coming right up." Emma feels a little spark of pride because speaking English in public used to make her nervous. Now it feels natural, like a normal part of her day. While waiting for her coffee, she takes out her notebook again and writes about what she heard outside. She writes sentences like, "I heard people talking about travel plans. I understood most of their words." She writes slowly and carefully, enjoying the feeling of learning through real experiences. After she finishes her coffee, she decides to practice speaking. She opens a voice recording app on her phone and starts talking about her morning. She speaks slowly, like a friendly narrator. She says, "Today I went to the library. I read a simple English book. I listened to English audio. I learned some new words." She listens to her own recording and feels a mix of surprise and happiness. Her voice sounds more confident than before. She feels proud of how far she has come in her English journey. This simple activity makes her feel motivated. Later in the afternoon, Emma meets her friend Lily at the park. Lily is also learning English, so they agreed to practice together. They sit on a bench under a big tree and begin talking. Emma tells Lily about the book she read and the new vocabulary she learned. Lily listens with interest and shares her own small victories. They laugh together and try to speak only in English for 10 minutes. It feels a little funny, but it also feels helpful. Sometimes they forget a word, and sometimes they pause for too long, but they encourage each other gently. They know mistakes are part of the journey. As the sun begins to set, Emma walks home with a peaceful feeling inside her. She thinks about her day and realizes something important. She did not study English like a heavy school subject today. She simply lived with English. She read, listened, spoke, thought, and explored with English as her friend. This makes her feel calm and happy. Before going to bed, she looks at herself in the mirror and says softly, "I am doing well. I am improving. I just need to continue step by step." Then she turns off the light with a warm smile, ready for another beautiful day of learning tomorrow. The next morning, Emma wakes up feeling calm and ready to continue her English journey. The sun is shining softly through her window, and she takes a deep breath, feeling grateful for a new day. She stretches her arms and thinks about yesterday's small victories, like speaking with Lily, listening to the cafe conversation, and recording her own voice. Today, she wants to focus on listening carefully and speaking a little more naturally. After getting ready, she makes herself a warm cup of tea and sits near the window. She opens her notebook and reads the sentences she wrote the day before. She says them softly, slowly, practicing her pronunciation. I am learning English step by step. I am improving every day. I am confident. She feels a warm, happy feeling inside because she can say these sentences without stopping too much. It reminds her that practice every day really works. After breakfast, she decides to walk to the park. She enjoys hearing the sounds of life around her. Birds are singing, people are talking, and the wind moves gently through the trees. Emma listens carefully to small bits of English from people passing by. She hears words like morning, plan, coffee, and walk. Even if she does not understand every word, she smiles because she understands enough to feel the meaning. She whispers to herself, I can understand English better every day. I am learning slowly, but I am learning. This little reminder makes her feel confident. She knows that understanding small pieces of English is enough to keep improving. At the park, she sees a small group of people practicing yoga. They speak some English to guide each other through the exercises. Emma sits on a nearby bench and listens quietly. She notices simple phrases like breathe slowly, lift your arms, and feel relaxed. She repeats the phrases softly to herself, practicing pronunciation. She notices her tongue is moving more easily, her lips more freely, and her brain feels alert. Listening and repeating is becoming natural for her. She thinks about how much more she understands than just a few weeks ago. Later, Emma walks to a small cafe to take a break. She orders a cup of coffee in English, saying clearly, "One coffee, please." The barista smiles and answers, coming right up. Emma listens carefully to the sound of English words in the cafe. While waiting, she opens her notebook and writes about her morning. She writes sentences like, I listened carefully today. I repeated new words. I understood small conversations. I am improving slowly. She says the sentences aloud softly. She smiles because her English is becoming calmer and more natural. While she sits drinking her coffee, a young man at the next table asks her, Do you come here often? Emma feels a little nervous at first, but then she remembers that small conversations help her practice. She answers slowly, clearly, Yes, sometimes. I like this cafe. It is quiet. The young man smiles and says, It is a nice place. I am learning English too. Emma feels a warm happiness inside. She smiles back and says, That is great. We can practice together sometime. Even this small conversation gives her a feeling of achievement. She feels proud that she spoke English naturally with a stranger. After finishing her coffee, Emma walks home slowly. She thinks about her day and everything she practiced, listening, speaking, repeating, and understanding. She remembers that learning English is not only about studying in a class. It is about living English in real life, noticing words, listening carefully, speaking slowly, and repeating often. She feels proud of her small steps because she knows they will grow into bigger progress over time. In the evening, she writes a short diary entry in her notebook. Today, I listened carefully. I spoke slowly. I understood small conversations. I feel more confident. I will continue learning step by step. She reads it aloud slowly, practicing the sentences one more time. Then she closes her notebook, takes a deep breath, and smiles. She feels calm and ready for the next day. Emma knows that her journey is just beginning, but she also knows that with every small effort, every word she repeats, and every sentence she speaks, her English will grow naturally, day by day. The next morning, Emma wakes up feeling a little tired but also excited to continue learning English. She stretches her arms, takes a deep breath, and opens her window to see the soft sunlight and hear the birds singing. She thinks about yesterday and all the small victories she had, like speaking with a young man at the cafe, practicing her pronunciation, and writing in her notebook. Emma smiles because she realizes that even small steps every day are helping her improve. She drinks a warm cup of tea slowly and reads aloud the sentences she wrote the day before, practicing the words carefully. I am learning English step by step. I am becoming more confident every day. I listen carefully and speak slowly. Saying the sentences out loud makes her feel proud and ready to face the new day. After breakfast, she decides to take a short walk to the local market. The streets are busy, but Emma feels calm. She listens carefully to people speaking around her. She hears words like market, vegetables, fruit, morning, and today. Even if she does not understand every single word, she smiles because she can understand the main idea. She whispers softly to herself, I understand more each day. I am improving step by step. At the market, she sees a shopkeeper arranging fruits. Emma politely asks, How much is this apple? The shopkeeper answers clearly, 50 taka. Emma repeats the number softly to herself and says, 50. She feels happy that she spoke in English without hesitation. The small interaction gives her confidence that she can use English in everyday life. While walking through the market, she notices a little boy trying to speak to his mother in English, but struggling with a word. Emma smiles quietly because she remembers feeling the same way. She thinks about her own journey and realizes that mistakes are normal and helpful. They help people learn. She continues walking, repeating simple phrases to herself like, I want to buy this, and thank you very much. She notices that speaking slowly and clearly makes her feel more confident. The more she practices, the easier it becomes. Later, Emma returns home and decides to review a short English story she has been listening to on her phone. She listens carefully, pausing after each sentence, and repeats the words softly to herself. She notices that she can understand more than the first time she listened. Words that seemed difficult now feel easier. She smiles and thinks, listening every day really helps. After listening, she writes a few sentences about the story in her notebook, practicing the vocabulary and grammar she learned. Writing and speaking together makes her feel that English is becoming a natural part of her day. In the evening, she meets her friend Lily at the park again. They sit on a bench under a big tree and talk in English. Today, Emma tells Lily about her visit to the market and practicing phrases with the shopkeeper. Lily listens and replies slowly, sharing her own small victories. They encourage each other gently and laugh when they forget words or make small mistakes. Emma feels proud because she spoke English confidently for several minutes. She notices that every small conversation adds to her progress. As the sun sets, she walks home feeling calm, happy, and ready to write a diary entry about her day. She writes slowly. Today I listened carefully, I spoke clearly, and I understood more English. I am learning every day. I feel confident and happy. She reads it aloud, smiling, and feels ready for the next day. The next morning, Emma wakes up with a feeling of quiet happiness. She stretches, opens her window, and takes a deep breath of fresh air. The sun is shining softly, and the world outside feels calm and peaceful. She thinks about everything she has done over the past few days, practicing listening, speaking, reading, writing, and most importantly, being brave enough to try. She remembers helping the old man at the cafe, speaking to strangers, listening carefully on the bus, visiting the library, and practicing with her friend Lily. Each small step made her feel stronger and more confident. Today, she feels ready to reflect on her journey and enjoy the sense of accomplishment that comes from consistent effort. She drinks her warm tea slowly, repeating softly to herself, I am learning. I am improving. I am confident. These words feel true now, not just sentences in a notebook. After breakfast, Emma decides to take a quiet walk to the park one last time for the story. The streets are filled with morning life. People are walking, children are laughing, and shopkeepers are arranging their goods. She listens carefully to English around her, catching familiar words and phrases. She even speaks quietly to herself. Good morning. How are you today? And smiles as she notices that her pronunciation has improved. At the park, she sees Lily sitting under their usual tree. They greet each other in English and sit together, sharing small stories about their morning. Emma tells Lily how proud she feels about all the little steps she has taken and how every small effort is helping her progress. Lily listens and nods, smiling warmly. Emma realizes that learning English is not just about words or grammar, but about courage, practice, patience, and enjoying the process. After their conversation, Emma finds a quiet bench and sits alone for a moment. She reflects on the journey she has had, from feeling nervous about every word to now speaking, listening, and understanding with calm confidence. She recalls moments when she felt unsure or afraid, like speaking to strangers, listening to fast conversations, or making mistakes. She realizes that those moments were the most important because they taught her courage and patience. Emma feels proud of herself, not for being perfect, but for trying every day, for practicing little by little, and for believing in her ability to improve. She whispers softly, I can do this. I will continue every day. When she returns home, she opens her notebook and writes one final reflection. Learning English is a journey. Every small step counts. Mistakes are part of learning. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing every day helps me improve. I am confident and happy with my progress. I will continue to grow. She reads it aloud slowly, smiling at the sound of her own voice. Emma feels calm, proud, and motivated. She understands now that English is not a mountain to climb quickly, but a path to walk patiently, enjoying every step along the way. As the day ends, she sits by her window, watching the sun slowly set. The sky is painted with soft orange and pink colors. Emma thinks about all the experiences of her learning journey: the cafe, the library, the park, the friendly people, the small conversations, and the moments of courage. She feels grateful for every experience and realizes that learning English is also learning about herself, her patience, her courage, and her determination. She smiles and whispers, "I am proud of myself. I can do anything step by step." With a soft, peaceful feeling, Emma closes her notebook, turns off the light, and lies down in bed. She knows tomorrow will bring new opportunities to listen, speak, read, and practice. She also knows that every small effort, every brave moment, and every practice step will continue to help her grow. She feels calm, happy, and ready for the future. Her journey in English has taught her an important lesson: that consistent practice, patience, and courage make progress natural, steady, and enjoyable. Emma closes her eyes, smiling softly, ready for the next day, ready to continue learning, confident that every small step counts, and knowing that she is capable of achieving more than she ever imagined.